As you can see, we love build projects here on the channel, and in particular we love big bore two-stroke build projects. In 2021 we built the Megalodon 700, and in 2022 we built the awesome YZilla YZM500. But what could we build this year that would top the lot? Something tells me that this isn't it. Well, what if we could build a bike that does everything that the Megalodon and the YZilla can do and more? That's the plan we've got for this year, and I've got a feeling it's going to be epic. There's no doubting that our BRC powered YZilla 500 is the best bike we've ever built. This is what former pro racer and certified big bore legend Neville Bradshaw thought of the bike after swinging a leg over it. Nev, just tell the camera what you just told me and Dan.
Like, no bullshit, that's probably the best bike I've ever ridden. Like, I did 3 or 4 corners on it, and mind blowing, dude. Like, it's so light, and it's got so much power, but it's not like stupid power, like it's very usable power. But it's like riding a 125 where you can just square up anything and it goes exactly where you want it to go, and then you can like short shift it, you can torque it. Man, that's awesome.
The counterbalance shaft in the BRC design motor works incredibly well. Having a 500cc two-stroke with minimal vibrations in a modern chassis is 100% the way forward. But if I had to be really critical, the YZilla does have a couple of drawbacks for the modern day racer. Firstly, she's only got a kickstart. So if you're looking for a quick getaway in a race after a crash or a stall, you might be in trouble. And secondly, the Yamaha motor doesn't exactly represent the true height of modern two-stroke technology. It's becoming more and more common these days to see fuel-injected two-strokes, which obviously have their own benefits at the racetrack. In our quest to build the most versatile, high-tech monster two-stroke in the world, these are the areas that we've been hyper-focused on. So after chatting with Riley and the guys over at BRC Racing in Canada, and they're the people that build these awesome 500cc conversion kits, we've come up with a plan. You might have seen one of our recent videos where I bought a Husqvarna TE300i and pitched it up against our YZilla 500. If you know me and you know the channel, you might have worked out back then that we had something very cool planned for that Husky. Imagine this. What if we could build a 500cc two-stroke that would be a devastating weapon in 4 wildly different worlds? Obviously, she'd be a motocross monster, as well as a delight in the woods and open areas for Enduro. But she would also be a diamond on the Supermoto track and a head-turning riot on the road. Well, that's exactly what we've got planned for this year. And that's why we've started with the Husqvarna TE300i. The bike is road registered already, which means that we can do things with it that we couldn't do with a stock motocross bike. And obviously the Husqvarna is already spec'd out for Enduro, but we can easily swap and change parts back and forth ready for motocross action. And it's got an electric start and is already fuel injected. But make sure you watch all the stages of the build, because we will be modifying that fuel injection system too later down the line, which I think will be very interesting. We've been planning, working on and filming this project for quite some time now, so I'm so excited to finally be able to share it with you guys. If you love big bore two-strokes, I think you're really going to enjoy this new series. The Megalodon was the first build for us. That was the original terrifying two-stroke. And then the YZilla came along to become the king of the monsters. So if this new bike wants to join that ultimate battle of the beasts, there's only one thing we can name it. Welcome to Project Cobb. Okay, so we're in the workshop and work has begun on the Fuel Injected 500 project. Roland's super busy in his workshop, so we're going to take the engine out so we can get the frame, and we're going to shot blast and powder coat that. We're going to go through the whole bike and give it a real thorough refresh. We're going to have a look at some of those cables, because someone I know might have gone a bit off-road, a bit, off track into some woods on the bike and maybe damaged those a little bit. So we've got a few things to go through. That's the plan for today. Let's do it. So as we get to work, let me just introduce you to our little team. On the camera, we've got myself and my dad, Phil. The main man on the spanners for this stage of the project is our good friend and a regular star of the channel, Sean Smith. And a little later on, Roland Shaw of Hardcore Racing will be on hand to help us with the motor conversion. It's always a team effort doing these builds, and Phil's part of this effort was to clean a bike. Yeah. And he's subpar, would we say? Or less than that?
Well, I think he's actually borrowed my reading glasses for this, so I reckon he needs his
He needs to take them
glasses.
home.
Yeah, when he washes, because just pan down here, mate. Look, this is. I mean, this is incredible. Look, he says, and he said he'd done a good job. Good job. So
it's been that bad that Sean's hoovered up 3 times already this morning.
Hoover.
So I just wanted to show you that to show you guys that we really do need to strip this completely and give it a proper refurb. So that's why we're doing that. But we also wanted to show how many wires there are here. This isn't your old school simple 2-stroke anymore, is it?
No, not at all.
This is why we've got Sean on board, because that scares the crap out of me. Sean was very keen to be involved with this project. He's become one of our main test riders on the channel, but he's also a very competent mechanic, spending lots of time building and restoring his own 2-strokes. Sean, just tell me, have you actually ever seen one of these before?
Nope.
No. Is it more complex than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, a lot more challenging. Yeah, because it runs the TPI system with an auto loop basically. There's a lot of electrics involved. I mean, you can just see by the plug for the ECU. On the motocrossers, they're not like that at all. It is a bit complex, but we'll sort it.
What's the phrase? It's just nuts and bolts.
Just nuts and bolts, mate. Yeah, and it's self-explanatory, isn't it? I mean, who can get this wrong? I mean, you know what I mean?
Slowly but surely, we were getting there. We learned our lessons from the YZilla build, and separating the teardown and the engine conversion across 2 days will just make the process far more streamlined and less of a headache for Roland, who, like I've said before, is one of Europe's leading 2-stroke minds. On the first night of that YZilla build, we were in his workshop into the small hours of the morning, so we wanted to try and avoid that this time around. What did you say, Sean?
I was just saying, look how clean the swing arm is that Phil's cleaning. I mean, he's done a mega job, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll get a job on a pro team. What do you think?
So it's about the moment of truth now. You can see Sean's done his job. A little bit longer than you thought it was going to take, Sean?
Just a little bit, yeah. There's a lot on these Enduro bikes compared to an MX bike.
It's time to take the motor out. Let's do it.
That's it. Off to Roland it goes.
It's the last time you're going to see it as a puny little 300.
Yeah.
Sort of true what they say about you, mate. You are useful.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Good job.
So that's our very well organised pile of bits, and this is what's left of the Husky TE300i. So the project is going into the next gear now. This frame is going to get shot blasted and powder coated, so next time we see this, it's going to look very different. We're going to take the engine over to Roland's to get started on that side of the project. And then Sean, what's your plan next?
Basically clean the mess.
Clean the mess.
Well, it's all the throttle body to clean, and then the jungle of the wiring loom, because Phil done such a good job of cleaning the bike, you know, before we start stripping it down. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Before we move on to the next stage of the project, I just need to say a massive thank you to our awesome sponsors, 24MX. These guys are a huge dirt bike parts and accessories distributor, and they've really helped us out with this project, both with products for the bike and to make our lives easier in the workshop. We couldn't make these videos or pull the trigger on projects like this without their help. And they're also cool enough to let me provide you guys with nice little discounts on a whole load of products. But I'll tell you more about that in the workshop. So keep watching to find out how you can get 10% off one of the trickiest parts on the 24MX website. And just like that, our frame has arrived back from the powder coaters. Okay, so it's another day in the workshop, and as you can see, we've had our frame back from the powder coaters and it is looking fresh. If you can remember before, it was looking ratty, old, used. Now it's looking brand new, and as you can see, we're going for a slightly different color scheme to how the Husky TE300i started. So I'll reveal all with the graphics and the plastics in due course, but I think you'd agree, we're looking good so far. So today's plan, we're going to start building the bike back up before we head over to Roland's to start work on that engine. Okay, so the first product that we're going to fit today is this, the 20 tie pegs from our friends at 24MX. They're a sponsor of the channel and they sent these to us to use on this build. You can actually pick up a pair of these with a nice little discount. If you use our code MAX10, you can get 10% off 20 tie pegs. Titanium foot pegs, super lightweight, developed by an MXGP team. Let's get these fitted and get cracking. The rebuild was going very smoothly. It was actually going a lot smoother than Sean thought it might go. That was true at least, until we started looking at the electronics again. This jungle of wires seemed to put a worried expression on Sean's face. Yeah, look, it's done. So loom's back on. But like I said before, Sean has worked on so many different bikes over the years, he was able to take his time and figure it all out, no troubles. Like he says, it's just all nuts and bolts at the end of the day. As day 2 drew to a close, we went as far as we could with the rebuild. Sean had done an awesome job and we were so happy with the refurbed frame, but we simply couldn't go any further until the motor was back and ready to be refitted. So join us in the next episode where we'll be at the Hardcore Racing Workshop with Roland Shaw to transform our Husqvarna TE300 motor into a 500cc two-stroke monster. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and that you're as excited as us for this project. A big thanks goes to Sean for all his help and also to our awesome channel sponsors for supporting us and making all of this possible. As always, guys, my name is Max, this is 999 Laser. Until next time, I'll see you at the track.